Sit down for a second because what I'm about to tell you might make you uncomfortable, but in the best way possible. You've probably noticed it before. Some guys walk into a room and women just gravitate toward them. Not just once or twice, but repeatedly. And here's the kicker. These aren't always the perfect guys or the ones with perfect bodies or even the ones with money dripping from their wallets. Yet somehow they ignite a kind of relentless chase that you might have only seen in movies. And here's what most men never realize. They're not just lucky. There's a hidden psychology at play, and it's powerful, primal, and yes, it can make women stick around in ways that seem totally irrational. I want to be blunt. If you've ever wondered why women pursue certain men and why some men are left wondering why her, why me, you're about to get answers that most guys will never hear. Because society has fed us a lot of lies about dating, about attraction, about how to win a woman's attention. And here's the truth. It's not about being the richest, the funniest, or the most charming. It's about triggering something far deeper, something instinctual, something that taps into a pattern of desire that women don't even fully understand themselves. Now, I know what you're thinking. Are you saying women chase men just for mysterious psychological tricks? In a way, yes, but it's more than just tricks. It's about energy, presence, and behavior that creates tension and curiosity. It's about a man who is emotionally unpredictable in a controlled way, confident without arrogance, available yet mysteriously elusive. These are the traits that make women chase, obsess, and, most importantly, never stop thinking about him, even when logic says they should. So here's what we're going to do. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you exactly what makes a man chase-worthy in this way. I'll show you the patterns, the behaviors, and the mindset shifts that flip attraction on its head, and I promise by the end of this, you're going to see why some guys are stuck in the friend zone forever, while others have women circling around them like moths to a flame. This isn't theory, this isn't fluff, this is real, controversial, and yes, it might make you rethink everything you thought you knew about attraction. So lean in, because what I'm about to show you will change the way you see women and yourself forever.
1. The unavailable man effect. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed a woman suddenly start paying attention to a guy who seems completely unattainable? Maybe he's not texting back right away. Maybe he has his own life packed with work, hobbies, and goals, or maybe he just doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. Whatever it is, she can't stop thinking about him. And here's the thing, it's not magic, it's psychology. It's what I call the unavailable man effect, and it's one of the most powerful, yet misunderstood drivers of attraction. Here's the first truth you need to understand. Scarcity equals desire. Humans are wired to value what they can't have. When a man is completely available, constantly texting, always agreeing to plans, never mysterious, he becomes ordinary, predictable, safe, and safe is boring. But when a man has boundaries, keeps a little distance, and doesn't make himself too easy to get, women's brains start firing off all kinds of signals that translate into emotional pursuit. Suddenly she's wondering, why isn't he chasing me? What am I missing? That uncertainty, that tension, that's what creates obsession.
Now, let me make this very clear. Being unavailable doesn't mean being rude, manipulative, or cruel. It means living a life that isn't centered around anyone else's attention, including hers. It's about having ambitions, routines, and a lifestyle that demands your focus. When a woman sees a man fully engaged in his own world, one that she can't completely penetrate, it triggers curiosity, admiration, and, yes, desire. She doesn't chase just the man. She chases the idea of what he represents: independence, strength, and freedom. Here's the controversial part that most men don't want to hear. Availability kills attraction. The more you bend over backwards to please her, the more ordinary you appear. The more you're always there, the less value your presence has in her mind. On the flip side, the man who is slightly unpredictable, who prioritizes his life but occasionally shows attention, becomes electrifying. He becomes a puzzle she wants to solve, a challenge she can't ignore. That's the essence of why certain men spark relentless pursuit. And it's not just about physical absence, it's emotional unavailability too. Men who maintain a certain level of emotional depth without oversharing, who reveal themselves selectively, tap into that same irresistible effect. Women are drawn to the man who seems like he has layers, a man she can't fully decode. That mystery fuels the chase and keeps her mind circling back to him again and again. Finally, let's talk about timing. The unavailable man effect isn't a one-time trick. It's a pattern. It's about showing that you have a full, rich life, that you are a priority to yourself first, and that attention from others, including her, is something you give deliberately. This creates tension, and tension creates pursuit. It's not manipulation. It's strategic self-respect, and women can't resist it when it's done naturally. So if you want to understand why some men are constantly chased, start here. Be a man who can't be owned, who can't be fully figured out, and who prioritizes himself without apology. The chase begins the moment she realizes she doesn't already have you. And once she starts chasing, chances are she won't stop anytime soon.
2. Confidence versus arrogance. The fine line picture. A man walks into a room, and without saying a word, he commands attention. People notice him. Women notice him. There's a presence about him that feels magnetic, but here's the kicker. He isn't loud, he isn't forcing anyone to like him, and he isn't bragging about anything. This is confidence in its purest form. Now, imagine another man who tries to do the exact same thing, but he overcompensates, talks himself up constantly, and acts like he's the center of the universe. That, my friend, is arrogance, and it repels women faster than you can blink. Here's the truth most guys don't get. Women chase confidence, not arrogance. Confidence is quiet, steady, and grounded. It's the kind of energy that says, I know my worth and I don't need validation from you. Arrogance, on the other hand, is loud, needy, and obvious. It screams, look at me, notice me, praise me. And here's the controversial part. Men often think being cocky or over the top will make them more desirable, but it does the opposite. True attraction is subtle, magnetic, and based on inner certainty. So how do you actually master confidence without tipping into arrogance? First, know your value without exaggerating it. You don't need to list your accomplishments or try to impress everyone around you. Instead, focus on developing yourself, your skills, your health, your passions. When you operate from a place of self-worth, women feel it naturally. They sense that you aren't dependent on their approval, and that sparks intrigue. Second, control your presence without controlling others. Confidence isn't about dominating the conversation or the room. It's about being comfortable in your skin, allowing others to notice you without forcing it. The man who can make a room feel alive without demanding attention is the man women chase. That's the magnetism that sets some guys apart from the ordinary. Third, embrace calm assertiveness. This is huge. Confident men express what they want and set boundaries without guilt or over-explaining themselves. They are clear about who they are and what they stand for, which creates respect. Women are drawn to clarity, certainty, and integrity because it signals stability and strength. Arrogant men, by contrast, create chaos. They confuse women with inconsistent behavior, bragging, or constant need for validation. Finally, here's the controversial truth. Women subconsciously test confidence constantly. They notice hesitation, over-apologizing, or desperation. Even if a man is physically attractive, if he lacks genuine confidence, the chase never happens. But a man who balances certainty, presence, and self-respect becomes irresistible. Women don't just like him. They find themselves drawn in, curious, and compelled to pursue. So, the lesson is simple but profound. Confidence attracts. Arrogance repels. Mastering this fine line isn't about acting bigger than you are. It's about being fully yourself in a way that commands respect and fascination. Do this naturally, and you'll notice women chasing you without even realizing why. 3. The mystery factor. Ever notice how some men seem to carry an invisible pull around them? Women can't put their finger on it, but there's something magnetic. That's what we call the mystery factor, a subtle energy that draws attention, sparks curiosity, and keeps people thinking about you long after you leave. It's not about being complicated or secretive for the sake of it. It's about creating an aura of depth that women instinctively want to explore. The key to the mystery factor is not revealing everything about yourself at once. When you're too open too quickly, the intrigue disappears. Women feel like they already know you, and curiosity fades. But when you live a life that's rich and engaging, yet only share parts of it at the right time, it triggers fascination. People naturally want to understand what's beneath the surface. That subtle tension is addictive. It makes women chase without even realizing it. Another part of mystery is emotional depth. Being able to handle your feelings, yet not lay them all out in every conversation, signals self-control and confidence. Women are drawn to men who can show vulnerability strategically, who reveal layers over time rather than all at once. This is what keeps them invested, wondering, and engaged. It's not manipulation, it's simply allowing your personality and experiences to unfold in a way that feels natural and intriguing. The mystery factor also comes from having a life outside of relationships. When you have your own priorities, ambitions, and routines, it communicates independence and self-respect. Women are naturally attracted to men who are fully engaged in their own world, because it signals that your time and attention are valuable. It makes your presence feel rare, precious, and worth pursuing.
Here's something you can relate to. Women notice when a man isn't predictable. They notice subtle shifts in mood, energy, and focus. A man who has his own rhythm, who doesn't always bend to external expectations, creates curiosity. That curiosity fuels desire. It's a subtle, almost invisible dynamic, but it works on a deep psychological level. The more they feel like they can't fully figure you out, the more they want to. Finally, the mystery factor thrives on selective engagement. You can relate to this. When someone doesn't give everything immediately, you naturally lean in, try to understand, and pay closer attention. The same principle applies in attraction. When you reveal yourself strategically, you're creating a natural pull. Women chase the unknown because the unknown feels exciting, rewarding, and worth pursuing. In the end, the mystery factor isn't about being distant or cold, it's about being fully yourself, living a rich life, and revealing it thoughtfully over time. It's about creating curiosity, tension, and intrigue without even trying. When a man masters this, women can't help but notice, think about, and want more. It's subtle, psychological, and incredibly effective.
4. The power of high-value lifestyle. Let's be honest for a second. Many men wonder why women seem drawn to certain guys while they stay unnoticed. And the truth is, most of the time, it's not about looks, charm, or luck. It's about lifestyle, purpose, and the way a man carries himself in the world. If you've been waiting for someone to notice you without actually doing anything meaningful with your life, it's time to wake up. Women are drawn to men who live deliberately, who have direction, and who value themselves enough to prioritize growth over approval. Here's the hard truth. Most men operate on autopilot. They wake up, go through the motions, and hope attention finds them. They expect attraction to happen automatically, as if showing up is enough. And here's the criticism. It's not. A man who doesn't pursue ambition, who doesn't cultivate his skills, passions, or social presence will naturally be overlooked. Women are attracted to energy, and energy comes from engagement with life, not boredom or passivity. So what makes a high-value lifestyle so magnetic? First, its purpose. When a man has goals, ambitions, or passions that he actively pursues, it sends a silent message. I have my own life, and I'm committed to it. That sense of direction is inherently attractive because it signals stability, confidence, and independence. Women sense when a man is living with intention. They feel it in his energy, his conversations, and his decisions. Second, it's self-respect in action. Living a high-value lifestyle isn't about bragging or showing off. It's about holding yourself to standards that reflect your worth. How you invest your time, how you maintain your health, how you engage with your surroundings. These things matter more than most men realize. Women notice even if they don't consciously articulate it. When your life shows that you value yourself, it naturally draws others in, and it keeps them interested long-term. Here's a piece of advice for men. Stop being passive spectators of your own life. Build routines, chase goals, cultivate skills, and maintain a social and emotional presence that demonstrates your value. The world doesn't reward waiting, it rewards those who create. When you do this consistently, women are drawn not just to you as a person, but to the energy and lifestyle you represent. Finally, a subtle but important point. A high-value lifestyle also communicates boundaries and standards. When your time is valuable, when you're selective about who you invest in, women respect that. They understand that your attention isn't freely given, it's earned. That alone increases attraction exponentially. So here's the takeaway. If you want to be chased, if you want women to notice and value you, start by valuing yourself first. Wake up to the fact that life isn't going to hand you attention or desire on a silver platter. You create it through action, focus, and the way you choose to live. A high-value lifestyle isn't about wealth, power, or perfection. It's about being a man who has his life in order, who moves with intention, and who radiates self-respect naturally. Women notice that energy. They chase it. And if you haven't cultivated it yet, it's time to start. 5. Breaking the pattern. Why most men fail. Let's be real for a moment. Most men never understand why women chase certain men while they remain invisible. And it's not because they lack effort, charm, or even physical appeal. The truth is deeper, and it's uncomfortable to face. Most men are their own worst enemy when it comes to attraction. They follow conventional advice, copy clichés, and assume that attention is something to be begged for or manipulated. But attraction isn't about trying harder. It's about doing the right things naturally, consistently, and with self-respect. The first reason most men fail is predictability. Women are drawn to tension, curiosity, and challenge. When a man is too predictable, too available, or too accommodating, he becomes ordinary. He fades into the background because there's nothing to chase. The pattern repeats itself. Men who conform, over-explain, or seek validation get overlooked, while men who maintain independence and a sense of self become magnetic without even trying. It's not luck, it's strategy, whether conscious or not. Another reason is lack of boundaries. Men who don't respect their own time, energy, and standards send subtle signals of low self-worth. Women instinctively notice this. Without boundaries, you appear easily replaceable, endlessly available, and ultimately less desirable. On the other hand, men who hold firm boundaries, prioritize themselves, and maintain a high-value lifestyle create tension and respect simultaneously. This balance is what keeps women invested and curious. Most men also fail because they reveal too much too soon. Oversharing, overtexting, and constant availability remove mystery and excitement. Women aren't chasing a man they fully understand. They chase the idea of a man they can't quite figure out. Emotional depth, selective engagement, and a life full of experiences create intrigue. Men who ignore this principle often wonder why their efforts don't lead to long-term interest, while others seem effortlessly desired. Here's a wake-up call. The average man mistakes effort for attraction. You might think that being nice, always present, or giving constant attention will make a woman chase you. It doesn't. Attraction is subconscious. Women respond to energy, confidence, independence, and mystery, not overexertion. If you want to break the pattern of being overlooked, you need to step back, assess your life, and start prioritizing your own value first. Finally, the most overlooked reason men fail is mindset. Many chase validation instead of cultivating presence. They worry about rejection or failure instead of focusing on the qualities that naturally draw people in. Women are drawn to men who are comfortable with themselves, who operate from a place of self-respect, and who navigate the world with purpose. Without this, no amount of effort, charm, or persistence will create the chase. Breaking the pattern is simple but not easy. Be self-reliant, maintain your boundaries, live a high-value life, and keep an air of mystery. Stop chasing validation and start living deliberately. When you do this consistently, the chase will happen naturally. Women notice energy first, words second, and everything else follows. Most men fail because they misunderstand this fundamental principle, but you don't have to. Master it, and you'll see the difference immediately. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear, and it might sting a little. Women aren't chasing the nice guys, the ordinary guys, or the ones who try too hard. They're chasing men who understand themselves, who live deliberately, and who refuse to be owned by anyone else. That's controversial, I know, because it goes against everything society has told us about being respectful, polite, or the perfect boyfriend. But it's not about being mean or manipulative. It's about being real, self-respecting, and magnetic in ways most men never even consider. And here's where I want to make this personal. I want you to think about your experiences, moments when you felt overlooked, invisible, or like the chase was never yours. I want you to comment below and share those moments with me. I read every comment and I genuinely connect with what you're going through. This isn't just a lecture, it's a conversation. I want to understand what's working for you, what isn't, and guide you to recognize your own power in attraction, because here's the ultimate takeaway. Attraction isn't something you earn by trying harder. It's something you naturally create when you become the kind of man who's worth chasing. When you prioritize your purpose, your lifestyle, and your presence. Women don't just notice you. They can't stop thinking about you. They chase not because you're perfect, but because you're compelling, mysterious, and alive in a way that commands attention. So comment below, share your story, and let's continue this conversation. I promise to respond, connect, and help you see the patterns that most men miss. The chase isn't random, it's predictable, understandable, and entirely within your control if you're willing to wake up and step into it. Don't just watch this video, use it as a blueprint and watch the shift happen for yourself.